Okay, hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Join John series, where we'll be interacting with a host of industry experts. I'm John Vincent, your co-founder for NicheBrains and the host for the series. Just a quick brief about NicheBrains. NicheBrains is a digital transformation platform which connects millions of SMEs with the best of brains across the globe to adopt digital transformation to help them grow their business exponentially, thus democratizing digital transformation. Firstly, a very, very happy new year to you all. So hope this year is an excellent and progressive year for all of us. So in today's session, we have a very seasoned guest, Chirag Warty. So Chirag is currently the Chief Product Officer of Lucknow's Farmers Market. So he's received his Master's of Training from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and he's done his Executive Management from Cornell University. His other alumni, Stanford, ULCA, UC Berkeley, and UC San Diego. He has consulted for many conglomerates like Aditya Birla Group, Tata Sons, Reliance, Vodafone, Danube, and many others. He has been in India. He's also in companies around the globe. So welcome to today's episode, Chirag. Great to have you interact with us today.
Thank you, John. And Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much, John, for having
me. So Chirag, it'll be great if you can start off with a quick, brief introduction about yourself, and then we can get on with the session.
I think you introduced very well, but yeah, thanks. I am an engineer at heart by training, born and brought up in Bombay, but all my education somehow has been in the US, and have had a chance to work with on multiple projects, multiple geographies over the years. And last few years, what I have seen with India is India has seen an exponential growth. Exponential is in like single digits, double digits. It's hard to peg points because everybody has a different statistics in mind, but it depends on how you look at it. India has been on a growth trajectory for the last few years, and recently the World Economic Forum that was in Davos last week, you must have seen a lot of people talking about the next decade, which is going to be India's decade. I firmly believe that we have a lot to achieve, and we are very lucky to be part of this journey.
Wonderful, wonderful, Chirag. Good to hear from that. So just moving on to today's session, Chirag. So see, we talk about quite a lot about this COVID and business, right? So what impact are we actually talking about, and what should be the focus for the businesses?
We are in a different state of mind. When in 2020 we got hit by the COVID-19 wave, when the lockdown started, we did not know what to expect, how to react. So we were all scared as such. Then if you understand the cycle, got reversed in 6 months, and people became too casual. And then we got hit by the second wave, which was more devastating than the first. And we lost a lot of good people. We had a lot of loss of revenue, loss of business. It's been 2 years, 3 years now. But today, when China talks about a new occurrence of COVID virus amongst their midst, and a lot of people getting affected, dying, and of course that virus is going to get spread across the globe, because now there are no flight restrictions. There are people still traveling out of China, coming to India, going to Europe, and so on. So people are going to bring that virus along with them. So if the virus exists into a airborne state, then we definitely are going to get it. But now we have a different mindset. We are not scared of it because we know what to do with it. We know how to handle it. The issue is about what impact it is going to cause on our livelihood, more like rather than a health to handle it. Because right now we have enough supply of oxygen, we have enough medication, all those things. We have stockpiled it. It's not about the healthcare anymore. It is about the business care. That means, do you have the money to survive through the hospital bills and the doctor bills and because most of the people today or back in the day couldn't afford the hospital healthcare, or even went bankrupt. So today, how do you protect yourself from economical recession? And of course, as you can see in the US and the Europe, we are talking about a different type of recession because of the Ukraine war. So now, how do we handle these two scenarios at the same time? In my opinion, we get hammered by these kind of second occurrence of COVID. If that happens, as in pandemic, we will get hit from a three-pronged perspective. One is, do we have enough material in the country, or do we have enough inventory to sustain ourselves? Because the first thing that any geography would do is seal their border to hit the pandemic. And if you remember, that's the first thing that we did. We went into a lockdown.
Right.
Lockdown means nothing going out, nothing coming in. You're frozen wherever you are. The major issue was about how do we control your essential goods going in and out, or the goods that are required, raw material to produce those essential things. Now, if you see the charts today, a lot of people who thought when the pandemic was starting, that how would the automobile sector do? How would the automobile sector react? Because automobile is not a necessity, it's a luxury, right? If you think about cars and other nature. So but to everybody's astonishment, automobile sector today and during the COVID as well did phenomenally well.
Right.
The reason was that people were no longer taking chances by sharing public spaces in public transports. So people who could afford were going in trains or cars, buses, and they stopped it.
Yep.
They would like their own cars or own automobile. So now they went on to get a different individual automobile. That ramped up the demand for homegrown, Indian-grown Tata Motors or Mahindra and Mahindra Jeeps or cars or SUVs that they are producing.
Right.
The problem that we face today, if that happens, so Tata Motors and Mahindra are very well their products, but we are still dependent on electronics from China.
Right.
So how would you face that if you don't get electronic parts from the Chinese producers, which are either the raw material or the chips or the PCB boards? How are we going to manufacture the car? So today, there is a new car that has come up a few years back, which is the XUV 700 from Mahindra and Mahindra. And if you try to book that today, the waiting period is about 12 months. Now, when you think about a car, you want it today, right? You don't want it after a year. It's not a house, it's a car. So, but why is a 12-month waiting period? Is it the Mahindras can't produce the car fast enough? It's not that. The problem is about the motherboard and the central computing system that is on board for the XUV 700. Mahindras are not getting that enough from the Chinese manufacturers. And that dependency is going to hamper us. And this is just an example from an automobile sector. We can relate that example to raw materials for chemicals, raw material for rare earth metals, TV screens.
Pretty much most industries, right?
Absolutely. So I think a three-pronged effect in things that will get affected. One is the logistics. Like how is it going to, how are we going to get material on time? How are we going to get it? And so and so. Second is the inventory. How are we going to manage it? So are we going to stockpile our inventory, or are we going to rely out of China? Maybe we rely on Indonesia, maybe we rely on Brazil, or maybe we rely on African countries. So that is something that a decision that Indian companies have to take. And that's not an easy decision, as you can understand, John. It's a very big decision for a company. And then the third part is about marketing. If you're not marketing and if you're relying on a local market, if the pandemic gets, market is frozen. So how do you reach out to a non-local market sitting in your headquarters or in your office? So that is something that people still don't understand, that you need to have multiple channels of marketing, and not only sourcing or not only selling it locally or regionally, but also selling it nationally or globally.
Right. Very good. So Chirag, you touch base. I'm just primarily focusing towards the marketing, because you're from the marketing side. You're an expert on that side. So let me a little bit touch base on that. Focus primarily on the digital marketing side. See, especially when we look at the businesses, how they are structured around. We can segregate them as three kinds of businesses, right? Businesses which have an idea about digital marketing, and then who have done some form of digital marketing. Probably they have a website or basic online presence, right? And then we have some businesses which have good online presence. Probably they are into some little bit of marketing. They've done some e-commerce too. So how do you think that each of these businesses can build upon or use the digital marketing to further enhance their business?
So, John, you rightly said, I would break this question into two frames. One is leader or early adapter as such, and a lagging adapter. Like everybody, if you know in your friend circle as well, once the new iPhone comes in, there are some people who would run to buy it, and there are some people who would wait for a year because either the prices are too high or I want to see what are the new features, and then buy. People who run to buy it are called early adapters, and then we of course know the lagging people who buy it after a year are the lagging indicators.
Right.
Now the thing is, with the early adapters, primarily these are some industries which need digital marketing. I mean, not survive without advertising, without digital marketing, without their marketing effort being the core of the business. Like these are certain industries like FMCG. If you think about the biscuits that you buy, or the juices that you buy, or some food material that you buy, are mainly to do with the marketing piece of it. Either your kids or your parents or your spouse is telling you, go buy this thing. It really looks nice, right? So that's the FMCG part. Then comes your retail, which is the clothing fashion industry. The fashion industry, of course, goes through a trend. So either they sell it now or they don't sell it. And so if they don't sell it, their whole inventory goes for a toss. So they need these kind of things. There are other industries which are more proactive, in the sense that industries that depend on technology like AI or ML, machine learning or data mining. These technologies, like for example, if you think about Google Maps relies a lot on user-based data, artificial intelligence to route mapping, satellite fencing, geofencing, and all those things. Now, these technologies have to be adapted sooner. So it depends on which industry you're in, but you definitely need digital marketing, in the sense to either catch the market today that you have available. Think about who's your customer today. The customer either comes through a local regional setup or it comes through online, right? But today locally, how far are you ready to travel? Like if you must have seen cities like New Delhi with their NCR region, suburbs, or Bangalore with its new coming suburbs, or Hyderabad for its new ring road setup. How far are you to travel for a certain material to buy? And the answer is not much. You're not ready to travel for 40 kilometers to buy something. You want it either in a catchment area of 8. If that's there, then you would visit the shop, get that purchase done. Otherwise, you're just going to go online and purchase it. So today, online is making a big impact. Any business, it could be B2B or B, has to have an online presence. The online presence doesn't stop there. Online, you need a facility or a platform to make that transaction happen. Because if you want to buy something, you need the facility to put it in the cart and pay for it.
Right.
So you can't rely. Today, a lot of businesses that I understand who don't have the website, who don't have anything of digital marketing on elements which are traditionally being present, traditional distributorship, traditional supply chain, or traditional channel of marketing. But with pandemic, what we have seen is that is all being broken. people don't want intermediate distributors. They want direct decision makers, direct manufacturers. So that is why today there is a concept of D2C, which is direct to consumer.
Right.
Rather than we call B2B, B2C, we have now come up with a new concept called D2C. And that is what manufacturers also would like to do. Manufacturers would like to sell directly to consumers because they can make a relationship. They can have a brand loyalty in place. So both sides get benefited, and the person who gets eliminated in between is the distributor or the middleman. So our businesses have to, people who don't have these kind of infrastructure available on a priority level, I think they need to set up, and in basic infrastructure at least, a website, a transactional platform, a place where they can package it and ship it. Now today we have shippers like Picker, Delivery, the Express Bees, and all those logistical partners who will just pick it up from your place of sourcing and deliver it to the consumer. So today it's easier than it was before, but the basic individual who does the business does not have basic needs. They need to create a basic infrastructure in place, and creating a basic infrastructure is not, it's pretty easy today. And I'm sure totally to get them connected with the people who are experts in this area. Then, John, I think the second point of your question was, there is an intermediate level where there are businesses which are equipped with some level of digital marketing, but they would like to go to a new level. So those are the businesses who need to get an understanding of how to use their infrastructure. Now, if you build the infrastructure, you have kept it in the place, but you need an understanding on how to use it and monetize it. Because at the end of the day, cash is God, right? You need that money flowing in. You need that new channel helping your current revenue stream and enhancing your balance sheet. So today we have who sit in India can sell their material worldwide. If you have a good material, if you have the good material, if you have the quality and the USP that you're producing, it could be, if you could be a regional player but sell nationally, and that is completely all right. And that can be done through multiple channels. Like you could do Google AdWords, you could do marketing, and this is pretty easy today. These platforms have made it so easy that a graduate of any stream, could be commerce, arts, or core sciences, can just log in and get it done. But if that's not possible, then I believe NicheBrainz is completely equipped with it. So having the monetization to be done with the current infrastructure is a leap where revenue will be augmented with your new stream. This is done through mobile applications. This is done through retargeting concept, which I would like to emphasize is nowadays is the concept of remarketing and retargeting. That means if you're looking at a product to be bought, you will see some ads for the next 24 hours related to that product. Okay, because Google tracks your typing, what you're searching for, and according to those searches, Google is going to show you a particular set of ads, and marketers can take advantage of it and start doing retargeting, because your audience is the right set of audience that you're marketing it to, and the decision that will happen would be faster than marketing trying to convince somebody else to do that action. So that is the second type of people. The third type of people are who are into a stage of who are already doing digital marketing and who now want to look at how to optimize their function. So if you think about Nykaa, who does cosmetics, now great online interface as well. That means has a online selling channel. Nykaa is not worried about infrastructure because they already have the infrastructure. They have somebody or some agency handling their online marketing. What they need to look at now is how to penetrate larger in the market space. So if their India is their market space, how do you penetrate to every household, to every female or every individual? How do you have a male walk into shop online into Nykaa's platform for his wife or his girlfriend or his mother? Now that is type of penetration Nykaa would like, because if you have a man shop for a cosmetic on their platform, that means they have created a brand, not only in the mindset of a female audience, but also in a male audience.
Right.
How do you do that? So there we come up with a concept about brand recall. How is your brand recall happening? What kind of mindset penetration do you have? And that is mainly to do with what is your content marketing strategy? What is your hooks? Why would anyone come to you versus going to your competitor?
Right.
Now, this kind of optimization is done through ad optimization, done through content, and there are multiple I would not say AI type of thing, but I would say there are a lot of smart technology that you can use to do these kind of data optimization. Now, I am sure, John, if I get into technicalities, everyone in the audience will not understand it. So I'll leave it at this point. And if anyone is interested, they can get in touch with us again, right?
Sure. Absolutely. So on that same thing, Chirag, if you can, for the audience purpose, can you give us any typical case study which you have done for any type of business, probably wherein, you've for any type of business that we discussed right now, how the digital marketing, was used and how the business basically improved?
I would tell you this way that there are two businesses that I worked with, which I think suit this question. First is it's a Bombay-based clamp manufacturers. It's a metal clamp. If you're putting two pipes together and there is a gaseous liquid that flows through the pipe, you can't weld it because the welding is going to break and there would be an explosion if there is high pressure available. So what you do, basically, you put those pipes together and you have a clamp on it. There are different clamps from small to medium to large. And these clamps are made by certain steel, grade of steel. They're very precision items. Manufacturers, so this company was one of the India's leading clamp manufacturers. They had the aftermarket in their hands and they had the OEMs in their hands, like almost there. But they were in India. Local means like, I wouldn't say local, but national level. Now, this company wanted to see if they could get the same kind of attention in US and the Europe and the Australian markets. Now, sitting in India, having no office at all, no presence in those countries, it's difficult to convince anybody. So what they started doing is they had a digital marketing avenue explored, where they created an infrastructure that would resemble their brand and would be easily accessible from anywhere in the world. And then they started getting in touch with or targeting the automobile sector in the US, in Europe, Canada, and Australia. Automobile sector, there is a lot of wear and tear of these clamps because your car is going to go to garage, your car is going to get scrapped after some years. So there is a wear and tear.
Right.
So OEMs need it, aftermarket needs it. Today, I can tell you, because of using digital marketing avenues, targeting these companies through LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, through Google, through Facebook's and Instagram's ad campaign, today the revenue has gone from 100 crores to 225 crores.
Wonderful.
Automatically, their export revenue is exceeding their national distribution revenue. So if they decided to stay in India alone, they would have still made about 120, 150 crores. But because they explored an international market through digital marketing channels, they could directly shoot double or more than double of their revenue.
Right.
Now that's the metal industry and automobile industry. So I'll give you an example of a chemical industry. So this is the there was a company in Chennai who imported as well as created their own chemicals. Now chemical industry, as you can understand, is very regulated, because you can create potassium cyanide, you can create TNT, you can create so if you don't know what TNT is, it's basically a bomb, right? So you can create bombs, you can do explosives, you can create poisons out of chemicals. So the government of India or any government, any country has high regulations on what chemicals can be produced or transacted. Chemical industry, traditionally, if you've seen, when we were in colleges and we were in schools, were mainly to do with brick and mortar shops, where people would go and buy things, declare, give their ID, make sure that they track who is buying it. Okay. But today, every laboratories across IITs, laboratories across universities, there are these scientists and students who don't believe in brick and mortar stores, right? So they would like everything to be ordered and delivered at their footsteps, right? Now, in that case, this company decided to take advantage of that trend a few years back, pre-COVID, and decided to create a marketplace. In the marketplace, you had all these chemicals which are in non-regulated, which were regulated and semi-regulated. So today, the technology is there to take PAN cards, Aadhaar cards, declarations, everything online. So whatever regulations or KYC had to be done, they would still be able to do it online. So during COVID, because there were so many chemical demands, so there was a level of demand for the chemicals had gone way high, because you had hand sanitizers, which required chemicals. You needed cleaning supplies, which needed chemicals. You needed different type of sanitization products across the hospitals or across the healthcare industry, which needed chemicals across, not to forget the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies needed chemicals to produce medicines. So this platform, and because of that niche availability, now this is not something international. I don't have this case study doesn't have the international glance to it, but what it means is, if your market is nascent, or if there is a gap in the market, and you see that gap, if you are able to fill that gap, you will be the pioneer in the industry. So these two case studies tell you that if you want to go international, digital marketing can do wonders. If you still want to stay national but want to tap a niche market, digital marketing can do wonders. That's what I want to say.
Wonderful. So Chirag, I think, you've given us a good overview with respect to the digital marketing for the different businesses, how they can do, and also with your couple of case studies as to how, how a company can go international and make money, as well as through digital marketing, how they can expand their business locally as well. So is there some key takeaways that you can give us, for, SMEs can reflect back and, they can immediately look at, how they should probably, start their digital marketing or, advance their digital marketing journey?
So what I would say, John, is, first of all, there needs to be an understanding for a business on which level they are on. Either they're on level 1, level 2, level 3. If you don't have the right infrastructure, getting the right infrastructure is very important. And infrastructure is pretty cheap today. It's very easily available, and that is never a challenge in India, because we are an IT strong country. Then there is level 2. Level 2 people have to understand that what kind of infrastructure they are utilizing, or what level of utilization is there in their current infrastructure. Is the utilization optimized, or if they need to repair certain aspects in their process. Third level of level 3 people are basically, today, if you're making X revenue out of the current infrastructure and channel, then how do you take that X revenue to 2X or 3X, right? So always optimizing, because we are a large country, there is a lot of demand. There is never an issue about are there buyers for my product. There is always somebody to buy the product. but are we reaching to the right audience is the question. So once you reach there, I think businesses can realize what kind of potential revenue they can make. That's the right way to do it, John. There is no second thought to it.
Absolutely. So, I think, it's pretty much insightful in whatever you have given today, Chirag. So when I look at it from the three categories, the first category, there's no looking back that, with pandemics and these kind of natural, disasters or whatever that is going to strike, we need to be ready. And digital marketing is one of the key channels. And whether it is whether you fall in any level, so marketing is a very, very key aspect. And if you are probably in the second level, you have to look at how you can expand your business, probably look at how you can optimize more of your digital marketing. And with respect to the third level, you would want to see how you can probably increase your revenue, multifold your revenue with the current infrastructure, and if it's needed, add some more part to that. So I think it's been pretty insightful, Chirag. So with that, we can open it up for the audience questions. So if there are some questions from the audience, I'm sure Chirag would be happy to answer them as well.
Thank you, John.
Chirag, this is Lakshmi here. Let me just ask you one question. I think it was a very insightful session for sure, and quite a good takeaways. See, you have worked in very large conglomerates like Aditya Birla and others, and also you also worked with SMEs. Typically, as while the large organization has quite a good infrastructure, be it with people, be it with financial support, and also kind of an infrastructure, whereas SMEs, this is at a high level I'm saying, luxury as such, I would say that. But having said that, both needs this new channel avenue for reaching out to their prospective customers. In your experience, can you share mainly from an SME point of view, when you compare this with having worked with conglomerates, what differentiation, both positive, where do you see that things are positive, and where do you see the challenges which SMEs possibly, when they are able to reframe it, they will be having much more successful? Would you be able to give some insights onto that, Chirag?
Sure. So good. I mean, I think, Lakshmi, this is a really pinpointed question, and I think everybody needs to know what is the differentiating factor between a conglomerate and a SME. So I'll take it into from a corporate side first, from a conglomerate. The corporates have larger budgets, I agree. They have more manpower, they have more sustaining capacity, in the sense from a money side, that today if they don't make enough money through online or digital marketing, they are not going to go bankrupt. But there is challenge for them. The challenge is that because they are reputed, they have a brand in the market, their experimentation capacity is very low. They cannot think of an experiment going bad. Okay, because their reputation will get tarnished. So every step that they take, they have to double check, triple check, quadruple check. And that takes a lot of turnaround time for them. And a lot of good ideas get thrown out just because of it doesn't go through the checkpoints that they have. Second, what corporates have a limitation is they cannot try out a technology unless it is tried and tested in the market. Because what if it fails? What if this happens? What if that happens? So what they do is they get somebody with very, very high price tag to do a very small thing. That means if you must have heard about people going to Taj Hotel in Bombay, Taj Mahal Hotel, to have a cup of tea. Now that cup of tea costs 1,600 rupees. Whereas a cup of tea out in a market, in a really nice restaurant, would still cost 200 rupees. Now 130, 1,600, right? The difference is that you're trying to go to Taj for a brand sake of it. So if these companies have to transact or try to get somebody on board to do a small thing, that comes with a very high price tag. So they bleed a lot in this kind of notions, or if this kind of risk mitigation strategies. Plus, they being such a big organizations, they can't move that fast. If they have to do an ad campaign, if they have to simply do a picture ad on Facebook, it takes at least 3 to 4 months for approval through chief marketing officer, go through brand officer, go through legal officers, and all those things. Whereas now come to startups or SMEs. SMEs are like, if you think corporates are like white elephants, SMEs are like leopards. You can move fast, you can change directions, you can experiment with things. Because since your footprint is not that large, if the experiment goes bad, you can say, oops, sorry, I made a mistake. And that brand is not going to get tarnished so much. Same as if you want to try out a technology or try out a single piece of some tool, you're not going to get some American organization all the way to India just to do it, because you don't have, you think, okay, it's all right to have that 100 rupee chai. Why have the 1600 rupee chai? Okay, so the advantage is that in SMEs, you are more agile, you are more flexible, you are more faster, you can do things that corporates cannot. And today, digital marketing, the infrastructure, the tools have become so cheap, or I would say available to normal people, that you don't need to be a corporate. So if you think about 1980s, if you had to create a TV ad, you had to hire an agency with crores of rupees, and only Unilever and different brands like Amul or Dabur could afford those kind of ad campaigns. But today you must have seen on TV, you can have SMEs doing campaigns, right? So it's not that availability is the challenge, is that the mindset or the doability, that things, the spirit to do it is the limitation. Rest, I think the playing field is now quite equal.
That's fantastic. Thanks a lot, Chirag.
Sure.
I have one more question, but I'll hold on if anybody has an. I'll just hold on before asking that.
I think we will keep some time for everybody. But if you have a question, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I liked your quote on healthcare versus business care in the start, because that's very important. Like, where it's important that we move from a healthcare, and also the business care is a must one. And the second one is also, it's going to be India's decade when it comes to manufacturing as well. I just really associate these two to a little bit hear your thoughts. What is the role of SMEs in this India's decade, and how should they really, with this pandemic or recessions or anything, how they should typically future proof? Because majority of small and medium enterprises, anywhere between 50 to 200, 300 crores companies, the focus is mainly on getting the day-to-day stuff, and people are really focused on getting stuck on the day-to-day challenges, and really not really expanding to the new way of doing things. For example, digital marketing, or positioning them in the digital way. So keeping those things in mind, and the role of SMEs in the India's decade, as well as how SMEs can insulate them or future-proof them from in terms of positioning, as they work towards this coming decade. Chirag, I know that it's a pretty long question, but I think I would leave it there to hear your perspectives.
So, Lakshmi, I think you have asked the right question, in the sense that India is on a cusp of exponential growth. That companies today, upcoming companies, small companies, startup companies, or SMEs are going to play a decisive role in the growth. Because if you think about conglomerates have reached to a point where they have 6%, 8%, 11% growth rate year on year. But if you think about an SME today can easily have 35%, 40% growth year on year, and that is absolutely possible. The government is supporting. There is an environment which is accepting risk-taking organizations. There is an environment where you can get funding. There are banks who have opened up regulations to give non-collateral or less collateral kind of a loans. So there is an environment of business that is in India. What we need to understand is, in my opinion, there is a cloud of creating valuation versus creating value. Unless you create value, your valuation is of no use. It's like a balloon. Someday the valuation is going to pop and you're going to come down all the way down. So creating value should be the prime focus of an organization. Now, how do you create value? Product quality, product innovation, product uniqueness. Focus on your product or the service that you're giving, then focus on the service USP. And if that happens, your marketing will augment your product sale. But as I keep giving examples to my students, is you can go to a restaurant looking at its fancy, nice boards out there, nice ambience, and you sit down, and then the food is not that great. Neither is the service. What do? You don't go back again, right? If you want to get your customer again and again back in, you need to do your core business right. So unless you create value, your valuation is of no use. Lakshmi, I think did I answer?
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Chirag. Appreciate this question. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any further questions? Okay, I think we're getting close to the time, so I think we can probably wind up. I'm sure if there are further questions, you can definitely reach back to us. So thanks a lot, Chirag, again for. And I believe there's quite a lot of information that you've shared for the audience to take away today. If someone would like to again get connected with Chirag, please do reach out to support@nichebrains.ai, or you can reach out to me as well, john.vincent@nichebrains.ai. So thank you, Chirag, once again for being with us today on this episode. It was wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much, John. The pleasure is all mine.
So thank you all again for joining us in the session today. It was wonderful to have you all, and hope to see you on the very next episode of Join John soon. So bye for now, and this is Join signing off.